Please give it up for Abraham and Michelle.
Hey everyone, this is Diamond Rivera of the Live Discussions with Diamond podcast, and this is episode 152. But before we get started, this episode is sponsored by Tu Bachata Radio. Also, this will be available on Spotify and other streaming platforms. And tonight, people, we're taking it all the way back to the West Coast. And tonight's special guest is a wonderful young lady that I've been having the opportunity to connect with alongside her partner, Abraham, and seeing the amazing work they've been able to do during quarantine, but also doing my own little research and seeing how much they've been doing on the West Coast and loving their style, loving their flavor. And now is an opportunity to have her on, tell her story so we can get a better understanding. So, everyone, taking it all the way back to the West Coast, to the one and only California. And here we have the one and only Michelle Ramos.
Hello.
Hello, Michelle. Honestly, all I have to say is us watching that video, we both were smiling from ear to ear, just seeing the passion, the fun, missing dancing. But most of all, Michelle, thank you so much for coming to the podcast tonight.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.
I'm so excited.
Absolutely. For me as well, because, what we talked about as well, seeing those little percussions in the back, I like the little setup. But, realizing too, especially during COVID, realizing artists like yourselves that were really capitalized on that creative kind of schedule of, at one point not being able to really get out the house. And us as artists, many of us can thrive off of that and be able to create, but others really have that artistic block. But realizing people like you and Abraham who were committed to providing classes for people online, when one time or another people despised having classes online. Now everybody and their mom was doing it, but you guys doing it on the West Coast, but also the presentation, the camera quality, the music, like you said, and we'll talk about it. How do you get it? You had to get everything to make it work. But honestly, it's an honor having you on the podcast. And I know for a fact we're going to talk about the dancing and all the fun, but I think it's also more important understanding the human being through it all.
Yes, yes. Thank you.
Absolutely. And as well, here we have Sarah saying Michelle, go Michelle, as well from Bachata Brunch, DC, one of the owners, the one and only Saul Elsa, but also coming from the DC area, showing some love here. But
What's up?
absolutely. And for me as well, understanding you as an artist, understanding the artistry is important. But like I said before, understanding the human being is way, way more important because without knowing who you were before your artistry, we really can't get the full grasp. So, Michelle, kind of give us an understanding of who Michelle Ramos is before the dancing, before it all.
Yes, so I started dancing at 3 years old. My parents put me in like a local ballet jazz tap
Hmm.
studio. And did that for about 8 years, so like till I was like 12.
Wow.
And then I just I just loved going to dance. It was just something that I was very serious about. I always liked listening to my teacher and really being present in the moment and being very focused about what I was going to do. I was very serious about learning. And I feel like that's something that I also carry on now still.
Yeah.
I like get really serious or focused sometimes when I'm learning because I really like to be there completely. And so after that, I started doing like also musical theater and things in high school. I'm not a great singer, but I liked doing the choreographies.
Okay.
And I liked acting. So I had sometimes like little roles here and there. And I also did like folklorico in high school.
Okay.
I did a little bit of hip hop, but I'm not good.
Okay. Hey, I love the honesty. I love the honesty.
But I did enjoy that. And what else? Yeah, after high school, my mom, she started going to salsa classes in Fresno, which is about 45 minutes where I was from, because I'm from Tulare. It's like a little town in between San Francisco and Bakersfield, or San Francisco and Los Angeles.
Gotcha.
And so my mom's like, oh, you got to come to this salsa class. You got to come. And I was like, oh, I don't know. And she dragged me along, and I went in my Converse.
Oh my God.
And I was like, okay, let's do this.
Oh man, Converse. That's the worst type of shoe to start out with, but that's on you.
And so I wasn't used to dancing with somebody else. I was so used to dancing by myself that I would backlead a lot. I was like, okay, so I got to turn at this time, but you're not leading me, but I got to go. So, I would just do it. And then the lead would tell me, hey, no, you have to wait till I lead you and stuff like that. And so at one point, I felt like I wasn't getting better after taking classes. And I started to get frustrated. And so I would tell my mom, like, I don't want to go anymore, But after I kind of got over that, I fell in love with it. I don't know what clicked in me, but I just felt like I connected with it so much.
Wow. And understanding that because many people can go through that same phase of not getting something and it can completely turn them off and then just move on to something else. But like you said, something clicked in you. I think maybe the challenge aspect of something maybe you're not able to get instantly. Some people have that drive of, no, I'm going to keep working until I get it. But I appreciate the honesty and talking about the back leading, talking about the initial hurdles it took, because it's not always the fairy tale of I dropped in this class and I got everything perfectly. We realize, hey, no matter what age we are, we all start from somewhere. We're all beginners when we start out. And realizing too, your mom driving 45 minutes outside of where you are to find this class. And realizing too, usually I've heard that too. A lot of my guests have told me they started out from someone else taking them to the class because they wanted somebody to tag along and kind of falling in it there. But like you said, your experience from when I believe you were 4 to about 12, having that 8 years of
Yeah.
experience kind of helped. So, a question I have for you then, of course, taking, like you said, you didn't feel like you were getting that far, but something switched in you. How long did it really take for you to kind of get then the grasp on things initially?
Um, I don't know. I was taking that class for like we would arrive at the social
Yeah.
and we would take that 1 hour class. And by the way, they're great teachers. Shout out to Pete and Carmen from Fresno at Studio 65. They're amazing teachers,
Hmm.
and they're one of my first teachers. And I don't know. I just when I was there, I maybe it was like the following, or I don't know it, or I don't really remember that like transition, but I
Hmm.
remember when I saw a performance, and that really inspired me to go and get training from that group that I saw
Mm.
performing, which was Prodigy,
Gotcha. And
with Idalia and Chris.
I've heard a lot about Prodigy and their company, but overall, California itself, especially in the dance scene, many of you people who know going dating back to the early 2000s, places like California, LA, what have you, just had a really rich, or still has a really rich history in salsa, specifically on one. Of course, you have your little outskirts of people who dance on two or different styles. But realizing for me, California itself, I think when people think of California, it's always the Hollywood aspect. But when
Mm,
you go outside of that, like San Francisco, Bakersfield, Fresno, Stockton, what have you, even places like Anaheim, you never know. You can find a dance school out there. But I think too, some of
yeah.
the people who aren't from California get the misconception it's always a Hollywood thing. And
Mm,
realizing no, there are regular places like that are not
yeah.
Hollywood-esque. And for me, I've always seen, especially in LA, was a lot of performance. What I mean is not just a dance performance. A lot of times it was theme based. The costumes were extravagant. Dancers really had to push themselves to make themselves unique.
Mm.
So I mean, I've dealt with that a lot, seeing it. So for you then, when was that first moment you were actually able to perform on a stage through your dancing in terms of salsa wise?
Okay. After I had seen that performance, I asked my mom, can I join their team? And then, of course, it came with, I'm going to have to drive you,
Ah,
45 minutes. Maybe I think we practiced like 2 or 3 times out of the week, depending.
mhm.
And so my very first performance was, I think, maybe 6 months in.
Wow.
I wanna say, and it was bachata,
Okay. Hey, hey. We all got to start. We all got to start somewhere.
and it was Tu Veneno by
Okay.
Aventura.
Okay.
And I really loved the song, and yeah, really enjoyed it, and that was my very first performance.
Wow. So now going into that, what was that moment like of literally, you're backstage, then they call your name to come out, you're out on the stage or out on the dance floor performing. What was really the feelings for you going through you of, hey, I'm actually performing and people are paying attention to me or the team, of course, as a whole.
Yeah, I think in the very beginning, I was really worried about not messing up. So I think for me, that first time was, I also had been used to performing because I performed as I was little, but I think maybe I was a little more worried about not messing up and trying to look good, which
Yeah.
now I try not to do that.
Yeah.
So that was probably like my mindset at the time, doing my first performance. And I had a really great partner, Jorge, but that helped me. But I don't know, in the video, I seem a little bit serious, but it looks like that's what I like,
I mean, you're in the
maybe
mode, you're
feeling.
like, all right, let me not mess up. Let me
Yeah.
just do everything. Even if I have to back lead, we're gonna get this routine. Hey, and trust me, I understand. I've heard this topic talked about a lot of the topic of back leading and realizing is that from a lot of follows. that I have talked to, their biggest issue is the lack of confidence in their partner. It's
Oh,
understandable. You know, most
oops, I
people.
can't hear. Oh,
Are you
I
able to
think
hear?
you're cutting out a little bit.
Are you able to hear me?
Okay. Okay, now I
Gotcha.
gotcha.
No, basically, really saying is that I think the lack of confidence in many followers
Mm,
in their lead is a big proponent because, especially when it comes to performance, I always tell people the best thing is having confidence in your partner from start to finish because, like you said, you look serious. It wasn't that you weren't
yeah.
enjoying the performance, it was just I'm not, I want to make sure everything is going according. But like you said, over time, you move on and like, hey, a performance is a performance. You know, you can practice as much as you want and you can practice as hard as you can, but you can only do your best. And, I
Yeah.
think that's a good lesson to learn because I think too, out of 150 plus episodes, many artists have told me the same thing of we are our worst critics.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and even if you're doing the performance to perfection, on timing, there's always something, us as performers, there's always something wrong, always something we
I
can
didn't like
improve
that. Yeah.
on. I
Yeah.
didn't like, but hey, that
Yeah.
performance we saw in the beginning with you and Abraham, I love that hair whip because when you have a lot of hair, you better use it. It can't always be tied up into a ponytail style. Sometimes you
Yeah.
just gotta let it out.
And my little ha.
Absolutely. I mean, that right there, I would say of you kind of bringing the story of when it started and how you were
Oh, you're
shy.
cutting out again.
Am I cutting out again?
Sorry. Yeah, a little bit.
Gotcha.
I
I'm
don't know
trying
if
to.
it's me or you.
I mean, yeah, because I can hear you, I can hear me, but I mean, hey, it's technology, it happens. But a question I have for you now is, when you started performing more and more, was it kind of a smooth transition to salsa? Because you said you started with bachata.
Yes, the team also that I was on, a prodigy that was on, also taught salsa. So
Hmm.
I was taking their bachata class and their salsa class. So I was also training in salsa, but I needed more time to get the routine, and then I hadn't been chosen to perform at that time, salsa.
Got you. So then, a question I have for you is, when people think of California and the dance scene, is there kind of like a cliche thing about the California scene that you've seen over time, kind of where performance based or really flashy? Because that's something I've heard a lot about California in
Hmm.
terms of dancers. A lot of them tend to try to be more flashy and performance and kind of, do the tricks and do the flips. Have you ever gotten that kind of feeling?
Um, I when I see different performances, I think of like maybe that's just the style, but I don't think
Yes.
of it as flashy or anything.
Hmm.
I think of it that's just maybe that's I guess that's a way to describe it,
Yeah.
but that's just maybe the how they want to express themselves,
Mm.
uh, and it doesn't to me. I don't really see it like that way when I see performances. I just see like that's their style and that's how they want to express themselves doing tricks and stuff. Even though I don't do tricks, I still
Mhm.
appreciate that. I still appreciate watching it, and I still have fun watching them dance.
That's awesome because again, you coming from California, hey, it's good to understand a person who lives there, who knows the area, compared to a person from New York on the other side of the world that just sees a video and it's like, oh, that's what it's like in LA. I've been to LA. There are so many different dance styles, so many different dancers, but also now we talk about Prodigy, your time with Prodigy. And, my question now to you is, how long did it take for you, of course, working with Prodigy? Then now, from just your first show, now you're going to congresses. What were those experiences
Yeah,
like for you?
it was it was incredible. I couldn't believe that so many people can be gathered all at once in a place, and
Yes.
then all they do is dance. Like it was just incredible to me to see so many people just loving salsa bachata and all the other dances that were at the Congress. It was just really really amazing, and taking the workshops and things like that. And as I started going to congresses, that's how I met Abraham.
Hey, I mean,
So,
we all start somewhere. I met my wife in Dominican Republic at an Island Touch event. So, hey,
woo,
dance
hey,
dance cures it all. But
they
it,
bring people together.
hey, yes, it does. Dance definitely brings people together. So, actually getting into that. So, even now, you going to the congresses and kind of getting that experience. A question I have to you is, if someone was to say, describe the feeling being at a congress, because most outsiders don't understand what it entails. It's not just the parties, it's not just the performances, the workshops. It's the
Yeah.
timing. It's like, going from one place to another, making sure you get enough adequate sleep to go back to everything. But really, for a person who's never been to a congress, how would you describe it to them?
Um, I would say it like a celebration.
Mm, I
I would
like
feel
that.
like it's a celebration of people coming together, and of course, people are partying and things like that, but also, yeah, celebration of the culture and things. Also listening to live music, which I think is really important. And when they bring that to the congresses, I feel like that's a really nice thing to have.
Oh, yes. And
And
listen, I have to give you a clap because you just said something so important. Live music. Thank you. Because I think that's also becoming a lost art form, in my opinion, because unfortunately, I talk to a lot of organizers, and sometimes their viewpoints is it's easier to purchase or have the services of a DJ than it is to have the services of a band. But for me, it doesn't get any more realer than a band. Hearing the timbales, hearing all the instruments playing, yeah, there's nothing like it. And yeah,
right.
I definitely think organizers should listen to the people when they say bring those bands back, please, for sure. So, now really getting into it, what was that experience like for you meeting Abraham? How did that come about?
We had mutual friends,
Mm.
and so we would see each other all the time. And it happened to be at San Francisco Congress, when it was
Mm.
called San Francisco Congress. And
Yes.
and uh, we saw each other, and we started talking. And that night, we just talked the whole night. We did not dance or anything, and
Wow.
we just hung out. And that was like my first experience, like getting to know him and meeting him. And I didn't think I was gonna see him ever again.
It
And we
always
exchanged
happens like
numbers.
that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I was like, I'll never see that guy again. And we started texting over a period of a couple months, and we saw each other again at LA Bachata Festival,
Yes.
and that's where he asked me to be his girlfriend.
Oh, that's
And
beautiful. Hey,
so this
the
is
rest is history. And I'm assuming Abraham, if he's there or not, can vouch for that same story, unless it's a total different story.
yes, true. Thumb up.
Thumb up. But realizing too is that that's a special moment. Realizing
Oh,
what did he say?
oh, he said long distance,
Hey,
and we were dating long distance for about a year.
hey, it happens. Everything happens for a reason. But realizing how special that is through dance, you're meeting. So a question now really is from, of course, you guys meeting. Was it initially like months after? Did you figure out, okay, we both dance? Should we now start partnering with each other and start creating routines, or did it come out of a necessity, like someone asked you guys to perform?
Um, well, it was a little bit of Abraham was already on a team before
Mhm.
I moved here. So we had been doing the long distance for about a year. And Abraham was training with Rodrigo and Selene.
Yes, Rodrigo Cortazar. Yes, I think I know.
Yes.
Yes.
At that time. And that was my dream to come and train with Rodrigo and Selene. It's funny, I said it in another a video or something like
Yeah.
that, and it like came true. It's crazy. And I came here and then I also started training with them.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, when they went back or they left,
Mm-hmm.
then we kind of stayed in that studio
Yeah.
and we started teaching.
Wow.
I think so, yeah. Sorry, sometimes I have a bad memory. And then we started teaching, and then we kind of started teaching a routine to get
Mm-hmm.
ready for LA Congress.
Okay. And what year would
Yeah.
you say that was?
What year was that? Like 2015, 2014?
Wow, man.
Yeah, it was a while ago, a long time ago.
Mm,
Yeah. It's
that's
just kind of like we just kind of started teaching it, like, just to start.
Got you. So then now what is that experience like for you? From at one point, your mom taking you to a dance class, your first ever class, fast forwarding, and now you're teaching people. Did you kind of have that moment of like self-reflection of like, wow, I've come really far?
I had the feeling of I'm not ready. Like,
Mm,
like I felt like I needed to learn more. And it's always like that for me. I always feel like I need to know more and learn more and able to do something.
mm-hmm.
And also, I think at the time, lack of confidence as well, which ties into, you're starting your dance journey. And so I was there like kind of almost scared to speak because if I said something wrong, I felt like it was not good because I was a teacher. So it was kind of that feeling as well while I was starting off. And I feel like if you just start, it's the beginning of something. You're learning. So how much can you learn until you're completely ready? So it kind of just like I got kicked in there and just started on my way. But I had a wonderful mentor, which was Abraham, because he had been teaching for so long before. So he had a lot of experience. And so I learned a lot from him teaching wise and stuff.
Yeah, I mean it's a different field of being the performer on stage, being a student, but now being the teacher. Now someone looking
Yes.
to you for guidance, looking for you to answer all of their
The
questions they
questions, yes.
have. And somebody says here we're figured out saying the mark of someone truly dedicated to their craft.
Oh,
Because
thank
again,
you.
it's what's really meaningful is understanding from both of your paths of, like you said, you dancing from earlier on since you were 4, getting experience growing up, and then working with Prodigy, but of course Abraham doing his own projects previously, you guys meeting, and like I say, everything happens for a reason, realizing that you had a person that was going to walk that path with you instead of kind of leave you to fend for yourself, because especially in this business it's about having that confidence. But I've also realized many artists that I've talked to have said their biggest issue is themselves, because everyone else can say you look amazing, your performance is great, everything, your costume, but it's always us that kind of
Yes.
look back and like, but I could have did this better. But realizing too, it's interesting because not many people can teach. It's not easy. It's not just about a choreography. It's really about understanding the people you're teaching, building your fan base, but building relationships. So a question now that I have is, and it kind of pertains to the video we saw initially in the beginning, is what was that moment like of from the teaching, from working together, now performing on a stage together in front of people? What was that moment like for you?
The first time performing with Abraham or just in
No, the
general?
first time, that first show, initial show.
It was very, very scary. We had done the routine pretty fast, I think like in a month or two, and we were like, yeah, let's do the show. And we just really pushed to do this. We're like, let's do this. And of course, you have your problems here and there trying to Abraham was doing the choreography he does most of the choreography when we do choreographies. I help a little bit, but at that time, like, I was like, I still feel like I'm always learning, really learning. And so then when we performed, it was at the studio where I used to train for Prodigy. So
Wow.
all my old, all my partners and my teacher would be there. So I was super, super nervous to perform for the first time with Abraham after being gone for a little bit. They're like, oh, we got to see what Michelle, we got to see how Michelle's doing. And, so I was a little bit scared, but we did it and it came through. Maybe it was you could see it, maybe it was scared in my face, but I felt pressured.
Hey, but it was good pressure. And also, too, we got to give a big shout out to the one and only Rob Grisco coming here from the East
Hey,
Coast, showing some love. Him saying as well for Abraham, love it. So happy for you both. Stay blessed as always.
aw,
Yes. And also, to a big shout out coming from Guanajuato, Mexico.
Guanajuato?
Yes.
Woo,
Corazón
Hector.
Rumbero, Zapatos
Yes,
Artesanal. See, my Spanish is getting a little bit better, so I'm getting it there. But
that's good.
now,
Mine too.
hey, it's all good. So, a question I have now is, you guys have been performing, of course, you're kind of getting your feet wet into this. So, realizing now we're going into 2020
Okay.
and realizing as well, everything for a lot of us has changed. We go from going to events every day, almost every day. Certain cities have events Monday through Sunday almost. Going to your next Congress, preparing, buying flights, buying tickets,
Mm-hmm.
what have you, and then everything stops. Everything's at a standstill. We don't know when we're dancing again, especially for places like New York and Los Angeles specifically. And, us, of course, we'll talk about how I got to connect with you both, but realizing too, what were those initial moments like of March 2020, really, when kind of things changed for a lot of us and still has to this day?
Yeah, it was kind of sad for us, especially because at that time we had started a new class, and we had started at a wonderful, beautiful studio, and we were so excited to be there. And we had to, it kind of just, we had been picking up like this momentum. We're like, this is our year,
Yeah.
to get more students and stuff like that. We were super excited, and we were preparing for Unified Congress,
Oh,
and
yes.
we were like so excited for this routine. We loved it, and we're like, yay! We had gotten our costumes and everything, and then boom, that happened, and we were so like, you're like climbing up the mountain, trying to get there, and then
Yeah.
that's like kind of what it felt like.
Man, I mean, of course, it's definitely difficult. I've talked to many artists about this because, again, from some artists having a backup, but some artists realizing this is their only source of income. This is their only passion. This is their only release from quote unquote the real world. I mean, it definitely hit us hard from something we love doing is connecting with one another, being close to people. And now that being taken away from us for quite some time.
Yeah,
Of course, now in 2021, things are looking promising, but still safety is a priority. But,
right.
realizing too during initial in quarantine, I saw artists like you and Abraham actually pushing content out when I'm getting people sharing videos from I know from California are sharing your videos and I'm like, man, who are these two people that like in my humble opinion like really know how to dance. They actually it's not just a class.
Mm,
They're moving their bodies. I can tell like the way they've been taught, they just feel the music. Of course, the presentation was great. I love the two percussion drums, the lighting you used to have in the back, and I was like, wait, I love the simplicity of it, but I love that these two artists are connecting with one another, but also it helps the connection with the people online because it's not the same when you can be with people than you can't. So
yeah.
realizing too, you guys starting classes online kind of give us an understanding of how that came about.
Yeah, we were like, oh, we should just try to move it online. And I think at first we were doing like Facebook Live.
Yes.
We had some Facebook Live classes that we were doing, and then we transferred over to Zoom. Like, not that. After that, yeah, we started to get the Zoom, and we wanted to, like I was telling you earlier, to line up the
Yeah.
music with our feet, and sometimes it was hard to do that, and it just wouldn't look right.
Yeah.
And so we really wanted that to happen. And Abraham did a lot of research. He figured it out. I don't know how. Like, it's still some of the things that he talks about I don't understand.
Me
And
and
so
him
I
got to
was like,
talk then, because this guy, he's got the Rode mic, he's got the cameras, he's got the
all
setup.
these programs that he downloaded to like make it work, and a mixer and all this other stuff that he had gotten. And we had the camera. We really wanted it to be like crispy and clean,
Yeah.
because I think we had been using a phone.
Yeah,
or
most
yeah.
of us. Man,
So
and
we just really wanted it to look nice. I mean, we had the tools. We just didn't.
yes.
We know how to put it together.
Hey, it's true in realizing too, many artists that I knew, a lot of them found that alternative online, whether it was through their phone or through a camera, but it was certain artists that, like I saw, just like myself, presentation, it was improving over time. Of course, like you're gonna go through your initial phases, but I mean, if you put the time and effort in, you're gonna get things done. It takes a little time to find those new applications to help the music mesh everything, but that's because you guys worked for it, realizing, how you guys connect, especially not having an audience physically there and still being committed to giving premier product to people no matter where, because people didn't understand you're doing videos on live that's not just in California, it travels and now people are sharing it. What was that like, when you started people really receiving the classes that you guys were giving?
I didn't know people were sharing it that much. So that's kind of like, I didn't know that. So it's news to me. We had shared it on a couple of groups, like I think it's like salsa, like Facebook groups.
Yes.
And sometimes you could see like a little like or some of the views there, but I didn't know a lot of people had been sharing them. So that's
Oh, yeah.
really nice.
Absolutely. A lot of people,
So
especially from the West
happy to
Coast,
hear.
yeah, I mean, because to be honest, during and especially the initial times in quarantine, there weren't many people pushing content. So it was people like you guys that I really saw and I admired, because I saw the passion. I saw that you love dancing, you love to teach, and you found this alternative that can still provide a service to people that love you guys. And most of all, it just looked like you guys were having fun. And that's a big difference.
Oh yeah.
Besides it becoming a job, of course, but also no matter what, finding the love in it. And we actually have to give a big shout out to the one and only Leah Robertson, all the way here from New York, saying
Aww.
Michelle's videos at the beginning of lockdown was so uplifting and inspiring for me. I have so much respect for their dedication and discipline to stay online when things were too risky to dance in person. And you see,
Thank you,
that is just
Leah.
one example. And there's so many more, but realizing too is that something that you both created, you didn't realize the impact of it. Sometimes you don't realize it until
Yeah.
others can show you, because your mind is running
It
a
was
mile a
a
minute.
lot of fun for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, I had a lot of fun. I was like, yeah, I'm glad that they're putting out these videos, and, just seeing a couple teaching, but also just dancing and feeling the music. And, I love too, you can't always have your dance shoes on. You got to go barefoot. You got to feel the ground. You got to, hey, I respect it. A question I really do have for you then is, what was then the transition like for you, of especially during quarantine, everybody's kind of cooped up, but
Oops, you cut out a little bit.
am I cut out
Sorry.
now?
Yeah,
Am I good?
you're good now.
Okay. I'll probably just stay right here to the mic.
Oh,
But
it did it
did it again? Because I can hear
right
you
when you start
perfectly.
the question.
Got you. Are you hearing me now?
It's a little bit.
Let me see. I think I can hear you perfectly.
Maybe it might be me.
Probably. Let me see. Am I good?
You're good. It sounds good now. It
Okay.
just sometimes when you start the talking, that's when it doesn't.
Gotcha. So I'll just try to stay as close as possible. But the question really is, what was that transition like for you from really doing the online classes and then, 2021, things are, opening up. Uh, there's kind of some sense of normalcy in a sense, of course, things are still happening. But what was that feeling like of you started to see events opening up back in your city?
Yeah, we had seen people start dancing. We still doing Zoom actually.
Hmm.
We just kept doing the Zoom, and the first time we went out was last month to teach a class. So it was our first class in
Mm,
person after this, the continuing the time since COVID had began. And at first, of course, it's a little bit scary
yeah.
because you want to protect everybody in the community, and I just hoping that everybody takes all the proper measures to be safe, of course,
Yeah. No,
for the
absolutely.
socials and everything classes.
Yeah. No, I totally understand because it's different. Like when you've been away from it for so long that it's not easy to just jump back in,
Yeah.
especially because it's still here and now being a lot more cautious because it goes for every city. People want to dance, of course, but for me, even as a videographer, I've been a lot more selective on things that I'm
Mm,
attending, and that's okay. Realizing too is I'm not going to go to every event
yeah.
that I used to go
Yeah.
to, and it's okay because I go at my own pace, and I also have to see, and I have to applaud you both for still doing your Zoom classes, still providing that option because it's sad to say I've seen people now I realize certain people were doing this for the wrong reasons of, oh, I'm just gonna
Mm,
Zoom until a class opens up and I'm going straight back publicly. And it's like, just seeing that you guys are moving at your own pace, it's genuine. And that's something I truly appreciate because hey, we're in a business that people want to make money. But at the same time, it's
mm.
people like you and Abraham that really are genuine people that I can tell, not just from a video, but by your actions.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. We really wanted to take um, the pandemic and everything seriously. And so we just really wanted to do as much as we could without, with Zoom online as much as we could
Absolutely.
up
And
until, we felt that it was safer.
you're right. And we have here Amanda Villanueva saying, making those videos with Michelle and Abe and the team helped to keep us, her students, creative and continue to keep our minds set on dance and continue to have fun.
Oh,
Hey, that right there is an example of everything you've been able to do and the people that believe in you. And that's something special. So, now before we get into our segment called the randoms,
oh,
we're in 2021 right now. And of course, like I said, things are opening up and hopefully we really are looking towards a brighter future. What do you feel? Have you had any thought about really what your dance career or your future looks like going from now on?
like what I want to do for growth.
Yes.
I really want to study more about the music. So I know like basic
Yeah.
things, but I really want to get better at timbales. I love the
Mm,
drums. I used to play the drums in middle school.
okay.
Bass one,
Oh, excuse me. Excuse me.
a little bit of a little bit of snare, but I wasn't that great. So I really want to practice. I want to get better at timbales because I feel
Mhm.
like that will get me better at dancing. Oh yeah, also Abraham's showing me my bass. I
Wow.
also got a bass,
Okay. All right.
and I want to learn how to play bass as well. So it's just like learning more about the music and getting into the instruments. I feel like that will help me grow and just keep working on my basic. I feel like working on my basic has helped me grow. So I'm going to continue to do that. Right turn, my Suzy Q's. You know, what else? Just grow with my Chew, grow with Abraham. Try to do more things together. Do a choreo, because we haven't done one in a while, just us two.
Yes.
So I want to see that as my future, and hopefully start a social.
Okay. I definitely look forward to that as well. And a big shout out to Jimmy Roomba here, showing some love to Michelle.
Hey.
And realizing too is something you said that's really paramount of practicing your basics, as people say, practicing your fundamentals. And realizing too is that not many people adhere to that. And realizing is that if you practice your basics, everything else will fall into place. As long as you understand is that for me as well, timing is key. If you're off timing, it just messes everything up. Just like you said, doing your classes and the music is not matching up to the steps, and it's like, but you got it, you got through. But something here as well, I love that Abraham puts out vaccine only social. You heard it, and I got my vaccine. So in the future, I'd love to come up there and check it out. Hey, I
Yeah.
appreciate it because, listen, in my humble opinion, I think events, promoters, organizers, a lot of them are doing a disservice because, especially now, it's not about capitalizing on the dollar. It's a capitalizing on the focus of safety. Because if your people feel safe, things will be much better. When people feel like you're just in it for a $20 entry fee, and especially what we're going through now, when people are still being affected, I think again, organizers and promoters need to do a lot better job promoting safety because even Abraham writing something like that is amazing because again, it's showing your community how much you really care. And even Leah here says, "Don't get me started." We understand in New York how things are, as well. My boy Guy Lavelle, all the way from Florida, showing some love here, and Jimmy saying how you are an amazing instructor, dancer, and human being. Hey, that right
Aw,
there
thanks, Jimmy.
means a lot. And Leah here saying, I'll join you at Abraham and Michelle
Oh
Social. Hey,
my
listen,
gosh.
this is where collaboration and unity comes together. And again, just hearing really your story, understanding kind of a glimpse into who you are as a person means a lot because we love the artistry, we love the choreographies, the technique, but you as the person, that is something that is special. And for
Thank you.
me as well, seeing the future of what you both have coming, I'm excited. I can't wait. But I think now it helps us transition to our last segment called the randoms, which is about 10 questions that allows myself to get to know you a little bit better. So all I need to know, Michelle, is when you are ready.
Okay,
All right, I'm going to
let's
throw a
go.
softball. Number one is if you could have one last meal right now, what would it be?
Sushi,
Okay, any specific style of sushi?
the dragon roll.
Oh, okay, okay. I like that. I like that. All right. Next question. What is your favorite city in California?
Ooh, I love San Francisco.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I like that. I
Uh,
didn't know if you were going to go LA, San Fran. I didn't
I
know
love
where it was.
Los Angeles as well,
Okay.
but I I don't know. I like I don't every single time I would go there, I would always have a great happy experience, and the weather and the bridge and the views is always really nice.
Absolutely. All right, perfect. Next question. This is going to be, as I call, a spicy question. What is a huge pet peeve of yours when dancing with someone?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Um, oh, maybe when somebody's being a little bit too rough.
Yes. I mean, no, absolutely. I mean, maybe if it's bachata too sensual, maybe if it's
Uh-huh.
salsa too rough. Trust me, I've seen it.
Yeah.
Uh, learn how to lead, please. We have here Jimmy Fire Flame and crying at the same time. I mean,
Yeah.
it happens. But hey, I love the honesty. Truly love it. All right, number 4. Imagine you're at your favorite event right now and you can dance with one person the last song. Who would it be? And also, disclaimer, cannot be Abraham.
Oh,
I already knew it. I already knew
it's because we always try to go after each other for the last song at the Congress. We're always like,
Yeah, where are you? Where are you?
and sometimes I don't have my glasses on, so I can't see where
Oh
he
man, I know. Oh, and he's like, "You were ignoring me. You just saw me." Like,
Yeah. I had a really great, amazing dance with a Gia.
mm. Wait,
So I would
Gia.
choose
That name sounds familiar.
Gia. I believe he's from Korea.
Oh, okay. Oh, yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. Gio, yes, yes, yes. Got you. I mean, how was that dance for you? Was it kind of just like everything just flowed seamlessly in a sense?
I felt like we were speaking the same language. Um, Kind of like I would try to emit like a type of energy when I was dancing with him, and he would bring back that same energy with me.
Mm,
And it was like we were talking without talking. It was just great. It was a wonderful dance.
yes, and Leah says yes. Gia from Korea. I like that. That's a nice
Okay.
little, it's a nice little nickname here. All right, number 5 for you, Michelle. If someone says, "Hey, I'm coming to California, take me somewhere that I can feel like a local," where are you taking them?
To go out dancing?
Anything.
Oh. Uh, ooh. I don't really go out that much, like to eat or anything, but
Mhm.
I like we go to probably take them to Chinese food that I really like.
Hey, I mean, I don't blame mine. That's a local thing. It's not the touristy thing. So, hey, I appreciate it. Definitely. So,
Probably go eat.
okay, perfect. All right, next question is if what is one of your favorite all-time events you've ever been to?
I like slow X, slow salsa exchange, I believe that's what they
Okay.
call it. It's in Pismo,
Okay.
so it's right near the beach, and the event is really it's you just do dancing only, and I think it's 3 days,
Mm,
and you not only do dancing, but they go out to eat, and you get to know the people, and it's really nice. It's like an interaction of meeting people there and eating with them, like breakfast and dinner,
yeah.
and then you would dance with them later. It was really nice. I felt like I made a lot of friendships and
Mm,
connections, not only with dancing, but like getting to know somebody. So
okay.
I really liked that event.
Nice. All right. Perfect. Next one I'm throw at you. You're at your favorite festival or congress. Somebody says, Michelle, you get the last performance. You get to choose who performs right now. Who is it?
Oh my gosh. Oh. Mm. An artist,
Yes, it could be anyone.
right?
It can be.
I would say Grisel Ponce.
Oh, okay. I'm definitely gonna share this with her for sure. Hey, I've had her on the podcast and she is amazing. I've known her for over 2 decades. So I mean, that is the queen. That is amazing
I
to hear.
love her.
Ah, I'll definitely let her know that for sure. All right. That was good. I love that. I love that. All right. Next
Thank you.
question is who is one of your favorite dancers from California?
Ooh, there's a lot of great dancers here. I would say Jennifer. She's somebody that I met in my journey, and she was just a really amazing dancer.
Okay. I like that. I see just sometimes I can tell when I ask that question, people get really introspective and it's like, there's a reason I'm picking this person. So I love it. And it's always, I'm glad that it's not always the quote unquote big name. It's like someone in the community that just has
Yeah.
great connection. So I definitely love.
She's a great dancer, and she has a lot of flavor, I think.
Okay. All right. Love it. All right. Next question is if you could have, oh, Jennifer. Oh, I thought I heard Abraham say Jennifer something.
Oh, Abraham? Did you say something?
Jennifer who?
Oh, Jennifer who? Jennifer
Oh,
Pisano.
oh, okay. I thought her last name was Sue. I was like, okay. Gotcha. All right, perfect. All right. Next question is, if you could have a store, what would that store's name be?
If I had a store, does it have to be about dancing?
No, it could be anything.
It would be called Kufu.
Kufu, and why is that?
It would be called Kufu because we love coffee, Abraham and I, and it would be cool to own a coffee shop. And so our nickname for coffee is Kufu. It's just like a
Okay.
little cute nickname to
Okay.
coffee.
Okay. I'm assuming nobody around you says, I'm going to go to Starbucks to get some Kufu. I'm
Kufu.
assuming. Okay.
We have some friends saying Kufu now, though.
Oh my God. Oh my God. All right. Perfect. Second to last question, number 9. My question to you is if you can dance with someone at a social right now and you had the opportunity to choose the song, what would it be? Last song, you're going to have your last dance sometime, but that last song with that person, what is it?
Hopefully a pachanga.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Somebody's showing some love to Bachanga because Bachanga and Cha-Cha we just get such a bad rap. What I mean is I love and I always say this, many dancers, real dancers, especially in the dance scene, the Latin scene would know, is if you're really a true dancer, I think many dancers in our field should have experience with Bachanga and Cha-Cha because I notice when you go to congresses, a lot of times, depending on the city, when a cha-cha comes on, everybody scatters like roaches.
Yeah, clears out.
It's like parting the Red Sea. When you put a pachanga, when you put a pachanga on, it's just like you're looking for like it's just little spots. But for me, it's like, hey, you got to give equal love, but also these dancers need to learn some cha-cha pachanga because I think it'll really, really, and I encourage this, it'll really help your dancing. But also, it's like,
Yeah.
hey, you got to be able to be versatile. And nothing is better, honestly, than like a cha-cha that you're connecting with that person, like
Yeah.
from start to finish. Even Guy says cha-cha is the grandfather art. It cannot get a bad rap. Hey, and of course, Abraham says kufu. So, I mean, but even Leah says here that they are the most difficult rhythmically, sure. Because again, when people are listening to salsa, especially when the tempo goes down a little bit more, it's almost like people are like piercing their ears to make sure they get everything. But I think also too is just train a
Yeah.
little more, take a few more classes. I think it will help. But now it brings us to my last question. And it's more of an introspective question. It goes like this. Michelle, long after you're dancing, if you're in another phase of your life in the future, when you look back on everything, how do you want to be remembered?
Somebody that cared about salsa. Somebody that cared about the music, appreciated it.
Wow. I mean, hey,
I think so.
and the way you say that is so genuine and natural because, I mean, we've seen many dancers come and go. We've seen many performers come and go. And there's those that really are students of the game and those who are just there for the moment. Um, and again, even doing this segment has helped me learn a little bit more about you, whether it's your nicknames for coffee, whether it's your favorite dragon rolls that you love, whether it's Jennifer, who you love as an artist in California, but so much more. But realizing too, it's just the simplicity of saying being remembered, for the music, being remembered, just really for your artistry and how much you've been able to contribute. And I definitely see that. And I definitely thank you for doing this segment. And now it helps us transition to the conclusion of our talk tonight. And honestly, Michelle, from start to finish, it's been an amazing journey. It's almost reading, opening a book and going through chapters. And like I tell many people on the podcast, always the first episode is like a part one because I feel like
Mm,
us as artists, our lives are like onions. We have so many layers. There's so much entailed to just because we talked briefly about your first experience performing, there's so many
yeah.
stories that go behind it. Or talking
Yeah, there
briefly
is.
about congresses, there's so much. But having you on tonight, getting a glimpse of who Michelle Ramos is, that's the most important thing because I love that people can celebrate you as the dancer, as the performer, but celebrating you as the person definitely means more. So, for me, I'm grateful that we can definitely have you on the podcast tonight.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It was so much fun.
Thank you. Absolutely. I mean, just of course, it's a little nerve wracking at first. I get that from many people,
Yeah.
but hey, this is a place of comfort. This is a safe haven, a safe zone. Because, like I've told you as well, privately and publicly, there have never been many platforms for us as artists to speak. Whether we've been chosen for an interview, a one off interview, whether it was writing, or just a 2 or 3 minute video of us dancing with someone at a social. There's so
Yeah.
much more to us. And being able to talk to artists like yourself and get your story from your mouth, from your words, means a lot because it's better than hearing about you from someone else by
Yeah.
seeing you. And, for me, being able to have you on, it's been amazing. But at least before we go, I would love if you have any last few words for myself and the audience, but also contact info on how people can reach you and Abraham and see what's happening next.
I would say if anybody's looking to get better at salsa, enhance themselves, go learn about the music. I would recommend learning how to play the cowbell,
Mm,
basics, learn the basics of the congas. Go see live bands. Um,
yes.
go support the musicians. Um, what else? Listen to a lot of music
And that would help.
and never stop practicing your basic.
Mm,
And I would say I love my chew, which is
okay.
Abraham.
Big shout out
I
to
had to throw
Abraham.
that in there, Abraham. And what was the last
Oh, it was
thing you had
basically
said?
just contact info on how people can
Oh,
reach you guys and see what's happening next.
okay. You can reach us at Abraham and Michelle on Facebook, and we're still working on our website, so I wouldn't. That's the website right now.
Okay.
Or you can reach me on Instagram at salsachica_. Also, you can reach me at also Facebook at Michelle Ramos.
Hey, there you go. And honestly, again, Michelle, it's been great having you on. We definitely hope here at the podcast that we can have you on again, whether it's publicly, whether it's online again, but catching up with you, seeing what you're up to, and hopefully in the future we're planning. We would love to have an interview with Abraham as well, get his kind of side of everything that's happened with him in his career. And then hopefully in the future, do something with both of you and get those, fun
Yeah.
stories. So we're definitely looking forward to it here at the podcast. We love you guys' journey. We're following it, sharing it, and celebrating it because that's what we do here. We celebrate the success of artists like yourself from start to finish. And honestly, again, I appreciate your time and your effort. I know you're all out there in the West Coast right now, about a 3 hour difference. But honestly, I thank you so much for your time and effort. I think everyone has been posting, commenting, everything. Big shout out to Guy Lavelle saying love and respect to you and Abraham out there in
Thank you.
Florida. I thank everyone that's going to be tuning in. This will be on Spotify and other streaming platforms, as well as Stubakshata Radio. So thank you everyone for tuning in. We appreciate your time, your love and support, and we will see you soon. Everyone have a great
Thank
night.
you.